On the off chance that you see paint on trees, this is what it means. Seeing blue dots, red X's, orange circles, and purple groups on trees, and thinking about what they mean. This is what we looked into those pointing trees. Regardless of whether you are strolling along a city walkway or climbing somewhere down in the backwoods, you may incidentally see paint blemishes on tree trunks, or even a metal band now and again. Those paint marks are codes utilized by ranger service laborers and project workers to pass along a scope of messages, from which trees to hack down to which ones need treatment for illness. Why are trees in the city set apart with paint? All urban communities have codes for stamping trees. Here we'll use Boulder, Colorado, for instance. In Boulder, when you see a dab at the foundation of the tree, that means it needs treatment for emerald debris, elm scale, or drippy curse. Paint specks at head tallness mean the tree needs pruning. Essentially, it denotes the tree unnoticeably, says Ken Fisher, right-hand forester for the Boulder Parks and Recreation Department. Many individuals don't even notification it, yet it cautions our project worker, that is the tree we're discussing. We have been utilizing paint spots for a considerable length of time or so presently, so a few trees have a paint specks on them. Pruning and treatment depths likewise surrender ahead to landowners close to the trees. Thusly, when the city tells them of an impending pruning or treatment, they realize which trees will be impacted. Why are trees in woodland set apart with paint? Paint in the backwoods frequently has something to do with a lumber deal. Circles, X's, and dabs in different shading distinguish which trees are to be cut, which ones are risks, and which ones ought to be left alone. They additionally mark property limits and natural barriers. In certain spots, trees with homes of uncommon or jeopardized space are stamped, says Christopher Evans, Expansion Ranger Service and Exploration Expert at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. That is the situation with the governmentally imperialized red-cocked woodpecker in the southern United States. Their tree homes are for the most part set apart with a white paint ring. In Western expresses, a paint ring might imply a tree impacted by mountain pine scraps. A splotch of head-high tone could likewise a path marker, showing explorers or mountain bikers what directions to head. Are painting tree markings widespread in the woods? Not actually. Fundamentally, they aren't in immovable normalizations for the utilizing of stamping paint in ranger service, even says. They can prompt the survey with attempting to sum up the significance of various images and tones. However, there are a couple of sweeping statements with ranger service markings. He says, X regularly denotes a danger or tree to be taken out. Circles and dots can mean trees to take. However, here and there they mean trees to leave. Numbers on trees are ordinarily to count them before a gather. In many states, purple paint is a general indication of a property limit, which implies no access. The United States Timberland Service has a couple of guidelines. As per Donna Nemes, UCFC local press official, much of the time red paint assigns the limit of UCFC land. Orange or yellow paints are utilized for gather limits, and trees inside those spaces have blue, orange, green, or yellow paint contingent upon whether they are to be taken or saved. A dark paint mark in eraser, adjusting a misstep. Are painted tree markings widespread in the city? Once more, probably not. In any case, back to Boulder's model. They change around checking colors each year. That's just truly like about 6 shadings that stand apart on the 3 bright colors like blue, red, yellow, and orange, says Fisher. We've used those tones again and again. This year's pruning occasions are red, and I've gone to trees that have a red paint up from this year, and furthermore, one from years prior. Why are trees painted white? At the point when the whole lower trunk of a tree is painted white, it's for the most part due to forestal sunscald. Sunscald occurs in winter when bark breaks and parts because of temperature change between chilly evenings and direct daylight. It harms the tree, however, it can make it powerless to irritations and microorganisms. This kind of painting is normally done on dainty-shaped private trees or plantations, says Evans. Painting the trunks white is said to direct the daytime warming of the bark and reduce the odds of sunscald injury. What is the paint checking for emerald debris drill treatment? It shifts from one town to another. In Boulder, they utilize three shades of specks close to the foundation of a tree to show it's being treated for emerald debris drill. That is on the grounds that, Fisher says, we're on the 3-year pivot with medicines. We do 33 of our treated trees every year, which is a little more than 1,000 every year. Is paint on trees used to deflect bugs? At times, however, it's anything but an extraordinary thought. Certain individuals do paint wounds or cut surfaces, for example, subsequent to pruning, as a method of hindering bugs, says Evans. Be that as it may, it's for the most part not suggested, as the paint over the injury blocks the tree's capacity to sail over the injury and it traps dampness which can upgrade decay. Imagine a scenario where I need to find out about explicit paint in tree markings in my town. Your town ranger service office can help and may even have more utilized data on their site. In Boulder, they have a tree planning joint where you can focus in on your property and see an literal picture of the close by open trees as a whole and their animal varieties. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, press like button and subscribe this channel for the next videos.